Virgo. I am here to help you figure out what is your key to open up that heavy door and answer the challenge that Pluto has issued to you, so you can actually open up that doorway and see the magic that is on the other side for you. I've been really paying attention to the comments and what people have been bringing in on the channel. And more, what I'm really seeing is that people want to have the actual tools of alchemy. They want the tools for transformation and to know how to navigate certain territories. So I'm going to start bringing in a lot more of these reads so you feel really empowered in working your path. And you can take whatever medicine from it that speaks to you, toss aside the rest. You can blend it with your own. But we're really going to dive more deeply into these significant astrological transits because they make a big difference. But if there's something that you're hearing about astrologically, but there's no way to sort of take all that wisdom from the cosmos and root it in material reality, it can really sort of be easy to dismiss the significance of those transits. It's really best understood experientially. All right. So we're going to do this. We're going to bring that map of the stars. We're going to bring it down to the earth, and we're going to understand how the cosmology and the messages it brings us through these transits, how it really is a roadmap to work the destiny of our life, to actually bring it into being, because that's what alchemy is. Fate is sort of what you're dealt with, you know, the hand you're dealt with, and destiny is more how you work with that. You take that raw material and you make it something altogether brand new. So we're going to dive into this energy, and we're first going to begin by looking at the challenge. Okay, I've been working with many different cards in this cycle, and something keeps coming through with Pluto and Capricorn. What keeps coming through is this sort of black and white thinking, and then the need to sort of blend that to not be so polarized, okay? To be informed by the shadow and take the best parts of the darkness, which is the potentiality that rises from that, and to really bring it into the light. So it's not seen as separate. This is kind of like what keeps us divided within ourselves. And so I'm playing with that with this particular read. I got it structured where we're going to open with the occult tarot to symbolize Pluto's challenge, okay? And then to get the key of transformation, that key that will help you open that heavy door, we are going to be working with the divine tarot, the tarot of the divine. And then in order to find out what is the empowerment that comes through that, to take the action to actually open the door. You know what I'm saying? That's the initiation point, because you can be given a key, but it doesn't have meaning unless you apply the action, which is the spear of Lu, right? To actually take the follow through step of opening the door. And when you step through the door, that is the empowerment. So that's what we're going to be looking at here with the Angel Tarot. And then I'm going to be working with the blended deck with the Sacred Rebels and the Halloween Oracle here that we've been working with through this series of reads, just to tie it all together. And we're going to see what is the magic on the other side. Because when you step into your empowerment, then it's not just a state of being you're stepping into, but there's a certain kind of magic that's bestowed upon you that comes with that. And you experience that transformation in your life. So it is the alchemy point. So let's just dive into it. All right. I'd already been shuffling this one to see the challenge that Pluto has for you specifically. And we have 9 of Wands in reverse. So I will turn this whole deck around. Says a strong and faithful fighter follows all commands and answers all questions. But it's turned around here. It's turned around. So there's like a fight has been relinquished. A fight has been given up. There used to be something you really fought for, you really believed in. And you may have even been like a dog with a bone about it. Like you were willing to just defend this thing to the end. And you might have also sort of been following another's directive. You know, maybe you let them have too much authority over your decisions. Maybe you let them sort of be like the answer to all your questions. You thought, as long as I can be in harmony with this person, as long as I can fight for this connection, you know, then I have the answer to my life. Sort of like this, you may have at one point viewed this person or this connection or whatever this was that you were defending as sort of being a defining point for you, like the answer to who you are or why you're here. You maybe place too much value on the other or something circumstantial rather than really taking a stand and fighting for yourself. With the Nine of Wands here, though, there's something you were really defending. You may have even defended it with a lot of heat in your words. That might have been how your fire came forward. There may have been times that you spoke out in anger or aggression, and there's something that I think has been released here. Okay, it's been released here. I think you realize with the Wheel of Fortune right behind it, Sagittarian energy here, that the loyalty was perhaps misplaced. There might have been something that you would fight for, you would take a stand for, you would be loyal to, but you weren't getting that sort of reciprocation. And you may feel like this ended up sort of rolling over you, you know, rather than moving you forward. It's almost like you hitched your chariot to, you know, this person here. And you thought this was going to be the thing that was going to move you forward, or this situation, okay? It could be a Sagittarian matter as well. It could be an opportunity to advance in your life. It could be some sort of view you had, a philosophical view, a spiritual view you had. It could be something that at one time was the fuel for your optimism, okay? It could be any of these here. But I feel like you realized that this had hidden dangers that you couldn't see at the time, but you didn't know what those hidden dangers were, okay, until it rolled right over you. And then it became very clear that where you would rise, you would take a stand for something very easily, whatever this was, would throw you under the bus, okay? So I think your challenge is sort of like the basis of the matter is to know when it's time to give up the fight. Sometimes it's not good to fight for something till the bitter end, especially when it's already proven its disloyalty or lack of alignment with your path. So I feel like that's sort of the basis of the matter here, to not need to get in those last words, not need to be the one to get like that last clap back, or not needing to be reactive to a certain person's provocations, a certain situation's dramatics that might want to pull you in and get you entangled into the fray of this. There's something about letting that go, like diffusing that energy. Okay. It's almost like you got these wings of transformation. You already know what needs to be transformed. You want to take flight. You want to take flight, but sort of like Icarus wanted to fly to the sun. It's almost like it can be a matter of pride, or it can be a matter of ego, where it's like, I got to get my last lick back in. I got to get in those last words. You know, I need to be reactive to what they're provoking me with, because it's sometimes that can be a false sense of power. You know, you think that the bigger you sort of make yourself, you know, through having like the last laugh, or getting the last statement in, or sort of humbling someone, to make an example out of them, something like this, to make oneself feel elevated. It actually keeps you grounded. And we know that Icarus, burned the wings trying to reach the sun, right? Sometimes we, in an effort to establish a balancing point in terms of power dynamics with another, we can desire to elevate ourselves over them. But that's how we keep sort of these inequities going on. That's how we enter into a codependent kind of dynamic. And you can enter a codependent dynamic with a situation too. It doesn't have to just be with another person, right? So there's something about this is part of the basis of your challenge. When to let certain things just roll on by you, don't resist, don't try to hitch a ride, okay? All right, let's get a look at this. Pluto, what is your challenge? Virgo, that came out quite quick. What do we got here? It's face down. It's in a crossing position, okay? Page of Wands. Ooh, okay, so this is interesting because Page of Wands is a quintessential Sagittarian card. So you could be dealing with a Sagittarian matter. You could be dealing with a Sagittarius in this case, okay? Yeah, be prepared here. There's something that's coming around the bend again here with the 10 of Wands on the bottom of the deck, and you see this Leo energy here. So it is reminding me of you needing to have strength in this situation for a sort of checkmate kind of move, okay? This is necessary. You need to understand that also that pride energy too, right? That is like the distortion of Leo is pride. And pride can always come before a fall here. This is also about putting yourself in check too. Understanding that you can either be at the cause or the cure of the dis-ease, whatever is sick in this situation, whatever is in need of healing in this situation. But it's not about putting another in check. It's about understanding how you perceive and receive the situation, and then how you work with that. Do you respond or do you react? If you react and you use that fire, to sort of flame someone, then what you find is that you actually end up burning yourself. That's going to work against you. That keeps you in a space of being trapped in the fear cycle. It doesn't allow you to move into the expansion or the healing or the resolution that is desired in a situation. It also says here, tell secrets and things hidden and can make one shape shift. So I do think there's something that burdens you in this situation. You want answers about the past. You want to know what was hidden because you already have very strong intuition. You already know these things within yourself. Knowing these things within yourself, you don't need to question them to the outer reflection of what you already know. Do you know what I'm saying? It's what you're seeing in your reality is mirroring how you feel about yourself. It's your doubt about what you already know to be true within you, your intuition, or you can even see this. I'm seeing the image of the high priestess in my mind's eye. And it does also make me think of that. I mean, I chose this deck for a reason to represent the key, the middle, right? It's all this lunar energy. And you see that symbol of the full moon with the crescents on each side. That is a symbol of that like goddess energy, that high priestess energy. And that's the balancing point here. So I'm feeling like a similar energy here. It's How are you in the middle of recognizing I am both at cause and of cure to whatever problematic situation I'm dealing with here? I am the one who chooses either ease or dis-ease. It depends on what polarity am I operating from? And are there times when it's helpful to employ both shadow and light? Absolutely. That's how you find the middle way. And that's usually what opens the way. Now, when we're working within the gray area is where we're dealing with something that is a potentiality. It's not something that's actually already rooted and manifested into material reality. It's more of an inquisitive, like, what could this come to be? Okay. So I see in this situation, there's a lot of guardedness around feeling like somebody's going to, pull a checkmate move. There's too much of a feeling of strategy being in place in this situation that creates an air of distrust where people feel like, oh, there's secrets here. There's things hidden. Nothing's above board. And there may have even been a pattern like this in this situation or with this person. There could be a pattern of shape shifting. Somebody could be a bit of a chameleon, adapting to the situation, in accordance to what's showing up on the path. This can be a learned behavior as well, to control one's environment, to not upset the apple cart in a situation. Whoever this is that's coming in, they upset your apple cart. That's the way I'm viewing it. There's some news coming in here. There's news coming in here, and it upsets the apple cart. And it's going to really ask you that question. Are you going to be the cause or the cure of dis-ease in the situation? That's the challenge being issued to you. Whatever this news is it can give you answers concerning past, present, and future. But the thing is what source are you looking to? Are you looking to this individual here? It says it can make one invisible. Are you going to look to this individual here to provide these answers? Or are you going to trust yourself? To thy own self be true. It's an important tenet. Are you going to trust yourself? Because I think if you are expecting a certain person or dynamic to implicate itself, it won't. You know what I'm saying? It won't. They're very protective of hiding that implication. There's already been a lot hidden. This is why you've had to trust your intuition to guide you through navigating certain terrain. So are you going to trust their answers or yours? Ooh, that is deep. Okay, that's a pretty deep challenge there, Virgo, that's coming from Pluto. Let's see what your key for transformation is. We're going to work with the Divine Tarot here, the Tarot of the Divine. Ooh, the Fool. The Fool. And it does remind me of the Little Mermaid here who gave up her voice so she could come into alignment with someone. Ooh, the voice, like the voice has been lost. Remember? Oh, that's powerful. Please let it be right here. Please let it be right here. Where did it go? Because there was the imagery of the fire coming from the throat, anger. Okay, so this is very interesting. You may have lost your voice, which may mean that you have a lot of anger that's been internalized because you sacrificed your voice in order to have what you felt would be wish fulfillment, to come into alignment with another here. All right. I mean, I'm seeing that. The Little Mermaid gives up her voice. She gives up her voice so she can come into union with Prince Eric. She gives up her voice to Ursula. It's funny how these themes have been coming in. Here it is. The Nine of Wands. You were very loyal in defending this thing that had absolutely no loyalty to you. And along the way, you lost your true voice. What is that true voice? The voice is the voice of your inner knowing that should be expressed, which is your intuition, your wild wisdom, which you already knew, what was already with you. But you gave it up. You gave it up by defending what you knew didn't deserve defending. And this can be defending a position. It could be defending another person. It could be defending an ideal. It could be defending a dream, a hope, okay? Whatever this was didn't represent you, right? And it actually ran counter to what you knew is the truth of you as well. So in other words, it challenged you. It challenged you to your core, right? Very, very wild here, right? So you gave up your voice in favor of, how can I say this? Keeping the status quo so you could have what you thought was the happy ending to your fairy tale. It's a little bit of glamorized sort of thinking, not realizing the power that your voice holds, not realizing that it's actually your voice that is your true empowerment and secures that 10 of Cups feeling, that feeling of fulfillment. That's essential. That's essential that you keep your voice, that you keep your truth, that you're able to speak your truth and live by your truth and walk your truth. And there's something here that you already know to be true. And you don't need those answers from somebody else because you have all those answers within you. This is part of it. There's part of this that's very important to you in your journey. There's something about having the bravery to have a new start in your life, but to not feel like you have to change your voice either, right? So it's like she had to give up something essential to her nature. Ariel had to give up her voice in order to be with this person. It's like, is it really the happily ever after if you have to give up something essential to your nature in order for this to come into alignment or in order to keep the peace? It's not. And that's what is the empowerment in this situation, is that you do not give up something that is essential to your nature. You do not give up your voice. You do not give up what you know is true for you in order to acquiesce and find a place within a situation or within a dynamic or within a group or within a lover's arms. You cannot. You cannot, because to do so is to lose the keys to the kingdom. This piece coming in quite strongly here. And you have a beautiful voice. There's something about you have a beautiful voice, and it's meant to be shared. You might have somebody in your life who has a lot of envy around the beauty of your voice and what you have to share. And they may have wanted to censor you, so to speak. And you can only be censored if you comply. Do you understand? So there's a certain determination that's needed here, okay? What is the key for Virgo that opens that heavy door so they can see the gift of empowerment that's on the other side? What is that key that helps Virgo open that heavy door so they can see the empowerment on the other side? What is that key that opens the heavy door so Virgo can see the empowerment that is on the other side? Yeah, look at that. More energy rising up out of the sea. It's all about really, yes, this is your chariot, you know, allowing those emotions and what you need to express. Isn't it interesting that it came out with the water? The chariot is what moves you forward. And we had that same imagery of movement with Pluto's challenge coming in with the Wheel of Fortune. But the thing that was causing the wheel to roll over was the fire, right? Too much fire. This really speaks to me of tempering energy here. So there is a need to understand that there must be a tempering. It can't just all be about the passion that isn't tempered with also emotion and intuition, heart fueled, can lead to too much fire. It can lead to aggression. And when we hold something in as well, when we hold our emotions in and we don't allow them expression, that also creates a buildup of like pressurized fire so that when it comes out, it's destructive, it's reactive. But when we can temper it and we invite in the water and we invite in that sort of like emotional flow, then we get a different result. It's interesting because in Ayurveda, it's a state we hope to achieve when we're doing body work and panchakarma. It's the state of liquid fire. It's when you really feel the lymph is flowing and it's almost like the tissues, the actual tissues get really like, I don't know any other way to describe it, but like succulent, like they just feel like if you've ever experienced it where you've really had really good body work and you've gotten your lymph all flowing and the tissues are all warmed up, it's just like you feel like butter. It's the best way to describe it, okay? So I think you need a little bit of that, you know? Yeah, buttering up things does tend to smooth things over. It does make things a lot easier. You do attract, more with sweetness than you do with acidity. You know what I'm saying? But it's not about being cloying and it's not about being saccharine. It's not about being artificial, but it's about really looking at what do you want to focus on in the situation. Yes, there may be a lot of bitterness in what you've dealt with, but within that bitterness, there's ojas too, okay? There's some nectar of life in there too. There's some sweetness in there too that can be extracted from that experience. And if you can take that little bit of sweetness and if you can build on that and allow it to temper some of the bitterness, then you can find this kind of tempering energy, Cancerian energy coming in there. So that is this place of moving forward with the flow, okay? Creating more flow in the communication, speaking more as well from the heart. And in making your decisions and moving forward, don't just be prompted by somebody's, call to action, let's say, by somebody reaching out or wanting you to jump into something with them, especially if your own intuition is sitting there saying, I don't know about this, right? There's something about allowing yourself, like we were talking about in the download that came in last night, about allowing yourself to sit with the discomfort for a moment. Because when you sort of get a call to action like that, you may feel antsy. You may feel like if I don't act right now, I'm going to miss out. And it may make you feel like you have to jump into action right now, or you have to respond to provocation right now. And there's something about allowing the discomfort to create space for the heart to come forward into whatever you're grappling with here, to allow the intuition to bubble up, to hold some space there too. And in doing so, it tempers the impulsivity. It allows you to move into more of sort of an allowing space where you can feel the full dynamics of the situation before you move forward. Okay, this is the way to move forward. It will create more flow in your situations and less need to sort of call in the cleanup crew. All right, but there is something that will move you forward here. So let's see what this key is to transformation that will move you forward here. And you would be amazed if you want to do some body work on yourself with a little gua sha. Do look at the gua sha video that is under the Panchakarma playlist here. There's an Aries point Panchakarma playlist, and there's also an Own Your Fire Panchakarma playlist here on Coven. And there are videos there that talk about gua sha and how to work with it. You can even warm up hot stones and rub them over your body with warm oil and really work your tissues. You can just use your hands and warm up some oil and do it too, you know, from head to toe. And where do you feel the tension in your body? Be hands-on with it, work it. It will also release emotions. It does spark transformation. The more that you view your body as the wand, the more that you'll understand that the state of your body has a direct influence on the state of your life. Yeah, look at that 10 of Cups here. Do you see? So where you've had others that have wanted to take your voice from you and tell you, no, you cannot have this dream. You cannot have this vision. You cannot step into this reality unless you sacrifice some essential aspect of your nature. It's you really recognizing, no, that's not true, because whatever is this place of ultimate fulfillment for me allows all of me to be there. That's your key. It allows all of me to be there. I don't have to tone myself down. I don't have to fit within a box. I don't have to live according to another's definitions of who I am and the role they want me cast in. Wherever this is for me, this fulfillment, this situation, this opportunity to build with another, okay, in some cases, not all, for some of you, this is just that alignment with your purpose and what you're meant to do, where you belong, you know. What is that sense of your North Node? This is that North Node fulfillment, that destiny. Whatever is calling me to that place, it doesn't ask me to give up any essential part of my nature. And these are the things that will keep us from that, where we feel like we have to in some way sacrifice ourselves in order to fulfill our destiny and according to somebody else's ideals. I really view this energy almost as a longing, you know, too, a longing for something that if you really look at it and you recognize it, the only way that you can fulfill it is if you give up an essential part of who you truly are. And when you discover this, this is a key that opens a big door for you. Now, for some of you, it opens up a door of abundance in your life. It makes you very clear about the next steps you need to take in order to create stability for yourself in your material reality. And there's something here that can really grow for you. Maybe you feel like you've never had that stability that you've always wanted, or you've never had a sense of family or a real sense of belonging. And perhaps you've always been in situations where you struggled. You struggled to get your grounding in life. You struggled to get some sense of progression in your life. And you feel like you've always had to work hard. You've always had to work hard and stay focused on working hard. And you feel like you really have applied yourself on many levels, but you've never been able to see it come to fruition. It's just always doing the work. And you might have been asking yourself, where is the reward? I've been doing the work. I've been doing the work. And I feel like I do deserve the fulfillment. It's not that I don't have love and respect for myself. You know, people will tell you that, like, oh, well, if you don't have that love or that fulfillment in your life in some way, you think you don't deserve it. That's BS. That's not true. It can be many other things that are holding you back. It can be many other distortions of shadowy material that are holding you back. There's plenty of people who do have love for themselves. That's why they're so actively engaged in their healing process. They know that they do deserve to heal and to feel fulfilled and to feel loved and to feel connected to their state of wholeness, which really is the truth of their being. It's just there's these distortions that have separated themselves from that. I see you achieving this. If you can understand this, if you can understand that what needs to be sacrificed for you, what needs to be released is defending something that requires you to give up an essential aspect of what makes you innately you. And then as soon as you do that, you're free. You reclaim your voice and you are able to move beyond what wants to drag you down to the deep and submerge you. Oh, whoa. Right behind that wheel of fortune. Look at it. That is such trickster medicine coming in there, catching you up in the web of illusion. See, you get free. It's interesting. It's almost like now the spider is caught up in that web. I love that. And pretty potent message there, I have to say, is what becomes right behind that. Oh, we get the 5 of Swords. So it's sort of like that which wove webs of deceit gets caught in its own trap. It betrays itself, 5 of Swords. And sometimes that's us. But once we see it and we take the action and we understand it, we are able to ignite the new beginning. We're not a fool, but we're brave. We transform. We say, no, I will not have others steal my sun. I'm going to reclaim that fire and I'm going to use it to activate the magic I'm ready to see unfurl in my life. I'm not going to stay tight in the bud. I'm going to take the risk to bloom. Right? It's really beautiful energy. Raven medicine coming in there. You also have Aries energy, North Node, Aquarian energy, what we're moving into here. Raven medicine. Raven is very much connected to Libra in Native American birth totem astrology and is also the magic holder, okay? And notice what's the magic here, taking the action, bringing the fire forward, but bringing the fire forward in an empowered way, right? You are the wand, okay? You are the wand. It's through your actions and using your voice that brings this about, okay? It sets you free. It opens that heavy door. All right, let's check this out. Now we're going to look at what is the empowerment on the other side. 5 of Wands. Politics and ambition wins judgment and protects all those who seek the truth. Okay, so you resolve some kind of conflict and instead you use your fire instead of being in competition or trying to defend others or trying to defend something else. You use it instead for your own ambition to move forward here. It's really beautiful. And there is some judgment that is in your favor because in one way or another, you're protecting what's true. First, what you know to be true for you, but I feel in you taking a stand in this regard for yourself and protecting what you know to be true for you, it also offers a benefit of protection to others as well. All right, so this is good energy. And you may feel like, why am I going through all this? I feel like there's a lot of been fending off. I feel like I've been rising to every challenge. Like, when are you going to come in and give me some support here, Spirit? But there's also that piece of Stop thinking that it's something outside of you. I mean, you and Creator are one, you know? Always listening in concealment. You just don't understand. God is listening in concealment. So it's all interconnected. So it's all right there. Once you recognize that, you'll be like, oh, okay, you know, I've always had the support. Creator's always been here. I can use this energy now to protect what really is true, what has meaning. And in doing this, this also protects others, you know? It gives something to others. Okay, so let's have a look here. What is the empowerment that comes on the other side for Virgo? And we will be moving through this terrain until November 19th. It got kicked off on September 1st. So we got quite a stint here, pretty much through fall. This is what we're going to be moving through, this territory. So this will sort of play out over time. But I did want to give you more tools that you can work with so you can understand the challenge when you're facing it. Because that can be tricky too, right? If you have a shape-shifty energy that you're dealing with, sometimes you may think that, oh, this is my ally. And then the next you're like, whoa, wait, it's a challenger. And it may flip-flop between those two roles. So it's also about understanding where those provocations are within yourself as well when you are the challenger, okay? And when you are playing ally, it's all a reflection. And the more that we can remember this moving through this cycle, that whatever we're seeing externally is mirroring something about ourselves, the more empowerment is on offer to us. So what is this empowerment for Virgo? Knight of Swords, intellectual richness, protects fertility, and makes children respectful toward their parents. And you know what I think of, the way it's coming through, just with the swords energy, it's making me think of the intellect. It's making me think of the thoughts. And when I think of the children, of the parent, like you are the parent of your thoughts. You are the parent of your visions. You are the parent over how you express those thoughts, those ideas, those inspirations, and those visions. And this is, you know, mastering that. You know what I'm saying? It's about mastering that mental, emotional equilibrium, learning how to balance it in such a way that your thoughts truly do become conscious things. You become very conscious of your thoughts and your emotions, and you become very conscious of your visions. And in doing so, it provides intellectual richness. That richness also is transferred into your material reality. So it translates as abundance, and it translates as abundance and richness, not just materially, okay? Financially, certainly it can come through like that. But it doesn't just take place like that. It's a richness in your exchanges with others, a richness in the experiences you're having in life, more meaning in the experiences you're having in your life. It's a feeling of deep personal fulfillment and feeling very empowered that you're in this place of understanding, I do have the power to create reality in a way that is fulfilling for me. And that's best done when I retain the richness, which is my own essential nature, and I don't sacrifice any parts of that. So this is protecting the fertility. And it says fertility of women, but we have to remember we're looking at this through the lens of the masculine, the feminine, and this is Hermetic principle here. You need the masculine and the feminine to come together for creation. The masculine is the avenue. The feminine is the creative power that comes through. So this is really saying it protects the fertility of all that creativity, all of these brilliant ideas, all of these dreams you have, all of these visions you have for the future you want to create for yourself, also others, what you would like to see for all of humanity, especially as we move more into that Aquarian age mindset. But this is also about letting those things be held and gestated in such a way that it actually produces fertility. You actually see it come to bloom in your life. And there is a moving forward here. Why? Because the all-pervading God is at the helm. All right? The Creator is at the helm. You are aligned with the Creator within you. It's no longer separate from you. You are not subject to the original lie. Let's remember. Let's look at it. Let's bring it in. I know about the Bible. Okay, I was raised in a very strict Christian upbringing. I know the Bible very well. It says in the Bible that the devil is the original lie, the original seed of dissension. Let's go down to the root. What was the original lie? The original lie was that there was separation, that it's not all one. You have all the keys to the kingdom inside of you. Jesus said that. You have all the keys of the kingdom inside of you. But you go to another to act as your intermediary. It's all right here. You're praying to Creator. And it should be a prayer where you're asking to be made aware of the Creator's presence in your life. Because once you do that, you'll understand there is no separation. And everything that told you that you don't have direct access to Creator is the lie. Then you see it everywhere, all around you. You realize, oh, Creator's been here the whole time. And it was all showing me, taking me to this place of the pain of separation. So I would be able to find my way back to the Creator within me. It's actually a really beautiful message. That's powerful. It's powerful to come back to that place of homecoming within oneself, especially when one has felt divided from it because of dogmatic thinking. That's the real unification point, honestly. Let's see what else wants to come in here for you. Air sign energy coming in strongly with that Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. What is the empowerment come in on the other side of that door? Once that action is taken and that fire is tempered and brought forward with clear action, what is the empowerment? Four of Pentacles. I love it. It's interesting the way it comes through. Self-atonement cures mental illness, deliverance from persecution. In other words, the mental illness is the feeling of separation. The mental illness is the fear of separation, of the feeling of not belonging. Look at that, the world on the bottom of the deck. Wow. When you realize it, it's like an awakening where you almost like experience that self-forgiveness. And you recognize, I don't need to feel like I'm being persecuted anymore. I didn't understand. I couldn't see it until now. Four of Pentacles. I was held all along. Four of Pentacles. I was supported all along. It's always been here. I've always belonged. I've always had Creator here with me the whole time, you know, right there with me the whole time, even as I was taking a fall. That's what kept me afloat, you know. Very interesting. Very interesting with the world there. Yes, a fountain of wisdom. The fountain of wisdom is what you gain on the other side. That's going to be your empowerment. It's the wisdom that comes through. There is wisdom that comes through walking through that door that could not have been gained otherwise. And it's invaluable life experience that will change your life from this point forward. And it will resolve a deeply conflicting belief system you've had in place for a long time that you took on. It's a programming that you took on that's made you feel very divided within yourself for a long time. It's made you feel pulled in two, never really knowing where you fit and having a hard time trusting, because naturally, if you feel pulled in two, how can you even feel like you're centered within yourself? This is about really coming into the center of yourself and trusting yourself and really trusting the wisdom that you've gained here. It's beautiful. And there could be something that's closing for you. It's something that used to be in a very fixed position in your life, maybe even stubborn, but now you're ready to let the world turn. And this brings you a lot of success. It brings you a lot of expansion. And it also makes you realize that you too hold a part in making the world go round. You do have your place in the world. And your life has meaning. You could have been dealing with a Taurus, an Aquarius, a Scorpio, or a Leo in this situation. You could have been dealing with matters concerning any of those houses as well. So Aquarius, different kind of thinking, feeling like you're not like everybody else, feeling different from everybody else, maybe never feeling like you belong because you just felt like you never quite fit, or you have a very different perspective from other people. Also, your sense of community, like, where is my community? Where do I belong? The networks of people in your life, your ability to connect with others, even your experience online and how you show up there and how you're received there, and your ability to move into expansion, or your ability to bring something different or innovative to the table, or to sort of clash with what maybe everybody else is doing. Looking at Scorpio, of course, we're dealing with the ability to transform. Maybe there was something you just really weren't willing to transform for a while. You were holding on to it so tight, you wouldn't let it go. Or there was an aspect of yourself that maybe got cast into shame, so you kept it in the shadow. Or you didn't feel like you would be well received if you shared this, or maybe you thought you'd be judged, so you tamped it down, you hid it, you kept it under lock and key, and you're really meant to share this talent you have, or this gift that you have, or this part of yourself that needs to come forward. It could have been part of your identity, or part of, your birthright, something you're meant to step into and activate in this life, but you might feel like you have to dim yourself down for some reason. It's asking you to transform this and really release those shackles that are just the prison of the mind. Allow yourself to step into it. Allow yourself to fully embrace it. It's what you're here to do. It moves you forward. It brings you a lot of success. Leo, who am I to be so brilliant? You know what I mean? Who am I to shine? Not wanting to be egocentric, or maybe at times making up a bit for places where you really did feel insecure by sort of putting on a front, when really what you were feeling inside was wanting some kind of recognition. You wanted to receive some kind of praise and recognition, and you were needing that from another. And it may have felt cruel that you weren't receiving it from another, but there was something really important you learned in that experience about affirming yourself. It's invaluable. It's worth more than its weight in gold. That's richness. It is. It's something that will serve you for a lifetime. You could have been dealing with Taurus matters, okay? Your sense of self-worth, learning about what you value, who values you. Money, how you relate to that. Security, how you relate to that, okay? all of these pieces could have been coming in for you, but there's success in all of your ventures on the other side of this. Worldly success too, yes. It doesn't all have to be spiritual. This is something you will see manifest in your outer worldly reality. So that's quite a bit of advancement there, right? And now I want to see as a result of all of that, okay, because you can be empowered, but do you activate it? I want to see what happens if you activate the empowerment. What magic does it bring into your life? Using this oracle deck, I already shuffled this thoroughly, but I just want you to see what's on the bottom of the deck here. Skull of flowers creating through the ashes. Beautiful. Mexican marigold coming in as an ally for you, Tejetes. It honors the passages we've been through, the big endings in our lives that sometimes feel like deaths, right? And there's something about celebrating, creating through the ashes. There's always beauty that comes after the burn, you know, after the clearing, new things grow. And this is about really honoring that too. You might want to create some kind of, this may be a magic that you're being asked to create, maybe doing some kind of, you know, fire burning type of ritual. Get a burning bowl going and adding sacred, you know, herbs in there and different different resins, you know, things that give you a feeling of creating some sacredness around what's being released. I mean, sweet myrrh is wonderful. Frankincense is wonderful. Copal is wonderful for bringing in the resin energy. And that always sort of brings in the tree energy too. Dragon's blood in there would be very nice. You could also bring in some cedar. You could bring in some juniper. You could bring in some sweet grass. That would make a really nice, you know, offering. And you can, and just speak, you know, speak to the fire, speak to what you're releasing. Let the smoke carry up your prayers. Let it be that release to the ethers for transformation. Sometimes we do need to bring sacredness too. And I do feel like a little bit of this is coming in. Create some kind of ritual closure for yourself, any way that feels fitting for you. And some of you may choose to do something like create some kind of art to symbolize that. That's another way that we can work with, you know, work with what we've been through and allow it to be the source of something beautiful that can come into being. All right, so let's see, what is this magic that comes through if you step into your empowerment here? What is the magic that comes through for Virgo once they pass through this Pluto in Capricorn transit on November 19th? What is this magic? Ooh, there we go. God, here. Yes, I love this. So you are releasing the dark wound, so love can live again in its place. And this will ripple out from that action. You know, it's like the more you're able to let this go, it'll have a ripple effect. The ripple effect will just be in alignment with that release energy. It's like it sends out a signal into the multiverse that lets you know that, okay, I've let go of the darkness and the heaviness, so I'm ready to let the light back in. And it will reverberate, you know, it will come back to you. Yes. And then we're not caught in the web. Then we're the master of the web. And we weave webs of community, connectivity, and beauty in our lives. And so much light coming in. Congratulations. Open that door. You're ready. You are. You've been ready all along.